I am Joe Bailey.
I am a freshman.
I am very white.
I am male.
I am possibly bisexual.
I am Roman Catholic.
I am an English major.
I am Christina.
I am not affiliated with a political party.
I am upper middle class.
I'm a friend.
I'm a sophomore.
I am Native American.
I am going to Srootings or Gattis Ruins.
I am male.
I am interested in males.
I'm agnostic.
I am studying film and media studies.
I am a libertarian.
I am upper middle class.
I am Christopher Marsh.
I'm a musician.
I'm a senior.
I'm white.
I'm male.
I'm straight.
I am Amber Danielle Baldy.
I'm Jewish.
I major in computer science and psychology.
I'm a Democrat.
I am lower to middle class.
I'm there for a lot of people.
I am a senior.
I am Marjorie Ann Cuerdo.
I am white.
I am a male.
I am bisexual.
I am Catholic.
I am an epidemiology major and a philosophy minor.
I am a Democrat.
I am Dan. I'm middle class.
I am a writer.
I am a freshman.
I'm Puerto Rican.
I'm a male.
I am Korean Amanda.
I'm straight.
I'm Christian.
I am studying chemical engineering.
I am a Democrat.
I am upper middle class.
I am amazing.
Well, I'd have to say my love life's a little lacking right now, you know, as sad as it sounds, it's true. Yeah, I don't know, I guess, I haven't really kind of found the right person yet, you know.
I am actually currently a virgin, though I have engaged in other sexual activities. But yeah, it's something very personal to me that I haven't wanted to do with anyone special yet.
That said, those weeks when we get to visit each other are just really the best, because that's when we can really, express ourselves thoroughly and completely in almost every way. And it really 100% beats out any other form of communication. Being in person really matters.
My girlfriend and I are more like best friends, so we are comfortable with each other. So just picture you with your best friend plus sex. You got us?
End of fall semester sophomore year, I was in this relationship, and I don't know, I don't think it was a good relationship to be in from the start, but yeah, I could really tell, and then moving into the beginning of the spring of sophomore year, I could really tell we weren't really clicking, and I don't know, we just weren't spending as much time together, and felt pretty shitty, I must say.
No, I mean, I've been single for most of my life. I've had a few girlfriends, but
I don't really mind being single.
You kind of crave it sometimes. You'll feel lonely. Sometimes you'll feel free. You feel like you have more money than you usually should.
I'm a really affectionate person. I love to give hugs to everyone. But my girlfriend isn't always very affectionate. So sometimes that's a little difficult. If I just grab her and hug her and she's like, no. But I think she's great anyway. And I think we have a great relationship.
I don't mind being single, but a little love wouldn't hurt.
Well, they say you have to kind of love yourself before you can love anybody else, right? So I think I'm all right with loving myself, but who knows? Maybe there's something deep down that I'm not really kind of come to terms with or something. I don't know about myself. Maybe that's it. Why my love life has been, as they say in the Friends theme song, DOA lately.
Being single, I feel like I have a lot that I'm still learning. That's why I'm still single.
Being single right now is
less stupid than it has felt before.
You wonder if you're ever going to find that significant other, but I'm still living, so can't complain.
I think because I'm so busy with school that I don't really think about it that often. But I mean, it's sucked before, and it might suck again.
One of my favorite quotes Oscar Wilde says is about getting to know yourself. You have to spend time alone without anyone else's opinion in order to find who you are. It's good to spend time alone.
Currently, no, I don't feel a sense of security with my family. My parents are getting divorced, and my dad has been in and out of the hospital with surgeries and sickness and stuff, and I question my mom's mental stability, and so I think that's why I do feel safe on campuses, because it's my break.
I definitely feel secure within my family. Yeah, they're pretty cool people. I feel secure in my family.
We see each other a lot. Very supportive. We're just comfortable enough with each other. I think we can joke around with one another.
When I came back from school sophomore year, and I told my mother that I was suffering from depression, her response is just like, you have to make yourself happy, you know? Like, it's just this inability to understand what I'm going through.
I think throughout this like unstable period in my family that there's been sort of this switch in roles of sort of like who's the parent, who's the child, and so as a result I felt like I've been more supportive of my parents than they might have been of me.
We have our roles within the family and we know where they need to stay. Like, I am the college student. I am the one that has to get the good grades to make the family proud, you know. So we all have our different roles. Like, my grandma is like the matriarch, her sister is the other matriarch. Like, we have our different roles, and like the kids take care of the parents. Like, there's just certain expectations of us.
So based on my definition of it, I feel very secure. If I need anything, I know I can go to her and everything will be fine. So I guess it just depends on people's definitions of family, because family could be anything and anybody.
We would always have routines, like in the morning and at night and before people left, you'd always say I love you, or you'd always say, like my dad and I would say, see you later alligator, and a wild crocodile, see you soon big baboon.
A lot of people think that I'm really fun and happy, and I try to be. I mean, I think I am, but I don't know. We're gonna use the Shrek reference. It's an onion. There's lots of different layers, and so it's not as easy.
I definitely feel a sense of security in my family. I'm not really sure why. I guess just because I know that my parents love me and they try to do everything that they can for me, so that if I ever need something, I know that they're gonna help me.
My mom, she usually checks in on me, asks how I'm doing. I remember, no, it was sophomore year. I was walking in class, I got a call from her, and I was just like, hey, what's going on, Mom? And she's like, how was your day?
We see these perfect families, and we think this is what we need to have, and we have these great expectations. And I feel like that's what a family should be, but it's not. So when you don't see resources around you of how to deal with these things, it just causes you to have issues relating to other people. So,
and I don't know how I'm dealing with it because I'm still dealing with it.
Pretty much, yeah. My mother cares very deeply about our family, especially about me and my siblings. And she is the primary caregiver in our family, so she works pretty long hours, pretty shitty hours. But I mean, that is all for our family.
My father, he shows affection by financially supporting me, and also by wanting to have a conversation with me every now and then.
It's his philosophy that you are truly successful if you can go to bed at night and not need to worry about the financial needs of tomorrow. And then you can really, 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 really be happy. Like, that's utter success. And like, while you can have happiness and still worry about that, you're not as successful as someone that doesn't need to worry about that. And so
take a big step back and say, well, what's important? What do you really want to enjoy? Do you really want to enjoy worrying about financial situations, or do you want to go out and do something fun, or like connect with a friend or something like that?
I get a lot more money from my scholarship than I do from my mother. She doesn't have that much money to give me, and so while I'm dependent on it, especially like during the summer and stuff, while I'm here, I sort of get by on what, you know, my scholarship's giving me and what the college is offering.
One of the main reasons I chose this school and chose to study what I'm studying is because I feel responsible for financially for securing my family financially in the future.
I'm dependent on my parents for tuition, but not for anything else. So I definitely have to work.
My parents have a very firm idea that success is shown in your income. So I also have that view, although I know there's more than that. But that's always my first thought.
If you're happy working at like a grocery store or something and living in an apartment, that's great. But if you're not, then do something about it to change.
We're using the social constructs of what is success. And in our society, we define that as money or power. So I guess money and power decide whether or not I'm successful.
I feel responsible financially, but my parents do not wish me to feel that way. They pretty much whatever else happens, they just want me and my siblings to be, you know, just to be happy. So that much is clear.
But I think one of the biggest things right now is me being in basically my own obstacle, because
How can I pursue my #1 passion and still try to support myself realistically?
Money is like it's like probably the biggest obstacle anybody has. So if I could win a lottery, I'd be set, because, you know, I'd set aside some, give some to like my family and friends, pay off my loans because I have debt. And then, you know, get my degree so I could be Dr. Richardson and people will take me more seriously.
From high school, I was a brainiac. I was like, I almost feel like, I wouldn't say godly, but, you know, people looked up to me and they said, wow, you're going to the University of Rochester? The school's not doing too well, just right away. And it was just, you know, I guess people seeing that, they expected a lot from me. And, you know, and then I come to college and I'm like, wow, this is hard, you know.
I'm abundant in my self-confidence in regards to academics. It was kind of a struggle. It was hard for me to adjust, and living on my freshman hall wasn't really, it didn't feel like home. It didn't feel like I had people who really cared about how I was doing, or that boosts that confidence a bit, and I appreciate that.
I think one of my largest concerns, and one of my biggest, is that I don't compete with my classmates. Because I do consider myself an intelligent person, but at the same time, being in a room full of people who consider themselves intelligent people can be intimidating.
You're just trying to keep up with that, and I guess I wish I could kind of have that persona of like this great person who's able to do these amazing things, you know. And that's what I want to work on, is just kind of becoming that person people are expecting me to be from when I was younger, because they always saw such promise.
Success for me is making my mother happy in whatever form it needs to be in. Like, I think for her, she really wants me to, you know, get a master's or a PhD, which is crazy, but
whether you make them or not will make you think you're successful or unsuccessful. So like, hopefully you can just make your goals for what you yourself wants.
It's all about perspective. You don't know where you fit in, but if you have people telling you where you do, then it can like help solidify how you think about yourself.
Getting acceptance from my family for things that like, because they accept me for who I am, but like they need to like realize that I'm not gonna be my brother, and like
it turns out that setting your standard for success as whatever you haven't reached yet is not the most pleasant thing to do. I think that it has driven me to do things that I wouldn't have managed to do otherwise, but it does mean that I don't always feel like I'm worth all that much.
That was my dream when I was younger. I wanted to be an inventor. I wanted to make things to help humanity. I wanted people to know my name because of that. And I mean, after going through these questions, I kind of feel like, wow, that's kind of where it all stems from, like all this like social like acceptance and things like that. It's because I want to make things that make people happy. I wanted to make things that the general consumer can use. And
yeah, what I want out of life is to make a positive impact on other people's lives.
When I'm around my friends, I don't show that part of me. I don't show the ambitious, crazy, workaholic side of me as much.
I just need to pass. I just need to graduate college and be done with this. I just cannot think about like having high GPAs anymore, because like that's just like a pipe dream now.
I think that I am worth all the diamonds and rubies and jewels in the world. And I think it came from love in my family.
I think there's always room for self-improvement, but I'm pretty satisfied with where I am right now.
So it's like when a guy came and tried to talk to me, he's like, "Oh, I think you're beautiful," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I know," and they'd be like, "Oh, you're conceited," I'd be like, "No, like I just know who I am and I'm comfortable in that." And I think that kind of scares people.
I'm unique and I'm very special, and I have certain things that other people don't, and I can contribute that, and I need to like play that up and like do everything that I can with that. So
my mom always told me that I was amazing. She always told me that I was great. Dad always told me I was beautiful, I was smart. So my mom, she built me up as a woman on, you're intelligent, you have integrity, you are worth millions in the world, you are set apart from the rest, you're unique.
You know, I have a lot more confidence in my thoughts, the way I look, and all of the things that people see, plus intrinsically, I just feel like I'm pretty at bay with everything. So
I have a lot of stuff to do within the next 12 hours, and I'm going to feel awful because I know I'm not going to finish it all. And so probably my self-worth tomorrow will be pretty low. But right now...
I like my body and I feel attractive, but I don't feel like I fit what people my age are looking for in, I don't know, a romantic partner. Like I feel a little self-conscious and uncomfortable with the way I look around my peers.
My dad, as a man, which I think was important, is he kind of like set up myself and my sexuality kind of thing. He told me I was beautiful. He told me how I was a goddess and all these different things. Showed me love. I love you. Others will love you. You only need a daddy's love. So it kind of set up my self-esteem with men. So I don't take anything from men. While my mom is like, I don't take anything from educators. I don't take anything from people who think that they're above me kind of thing. So they gave me two different sets of self-worth. And I think that's kind of how I came to where I was.
Personally, it's gotten to the point where to me, it means almost less because I've heard it so many times. But that is how they show affection. They try to make sure that they know that they think that I'm very successful, regardless of my towering expectations.
When I see my friends like get the questions before me, I'm like, can I do this? Like, am I able to do this? Should I be trying this at all if other people can do it much faster than I can?
I guess for me that applies to a lot of things. I mean, I look at the things I do in life and I always think I can do them better. I see other people do the same things that I do way better than me,
all that stuff made my self-worth like kind of lowish because I felt like I couldn't like do enough to get out of that. Like there's nothing like a 10-year-old me can do to make my household situation much better, or even like a 16-year-old me, you know.
I surround myself with like-minded people, so the only way was up. So I think that's, and of course, and I kept God with me. I kept God with me. I kept God with me. So my self-worth only improved over time.
I guess, yeah, criticism would be my strong point, which is sad. But, okay, maybe I can find something more positive.
A lot of times I just think that I don't have worth just because like I'm not where I want to be and I'm not as successful as I want to be. Like I'm starting a lot of stuff, but
I'm really good at salting foods, like finding the perfect balance between like spiciness and...
I'm also confident in who I want to be, if that makes sense. Like, even though I know I'm not there now, who I want to be is worth it. Who I want to be is worth all this, all the trouble that I'm putting myself through.
I came out to my mom probably freshman year of high school, which I think is pretty early compared to my friends who I've met here in Rochester actually, which actually surprised me. And I actually didn't feel any doubts towards coming out, which I feel like wasn't really the case for most of my friends here.
My partners being uncomfortable with being gay or with coming out makes me feel uncomfortable because then I have to hide. And I hate hiding, which is why I came out. So
I think the ability to be yourself kind of depends on where you are. Everyone has a code switch. So if I'm with one set of people, I kind of have to act a little differently than I am with others.
So I feel I belong in the minority, even though I don't like using the word minority or people of color group, more like because I can relate to them more in terms of struggles or growing up, the background.
Yes, I feel pretty confident in who I am, and I feel like I can express that fairly well in our society. I've never like struggled with, I guess, self-identification really. It's always just been trying not to care what other people think and just being who I am.
A lot of people here too have come from really conservative backgrounds. I grew up in a family that's very Roman Catholic. And as a child, I did follow the faith and everything because I was told.
I've been very lucky in a lot of situations that, like, just the life I've been born into is that I'm lucky enough to be accepted by a lot of society and not have too many troubles. I mean, I'm white, I come from a pretty like stable home background and financially stable and everything, so that automatically is a lot of privilege I've been afforded, which I'm incredibly grateful for.
I'm learning to feel comfortable with like the spectrum of Anansa and kind of putting that out there for the people, but it's kind of hard, right? Because then we get back to this idea of the system, right? Who's the system made for? It's not made for being black. It's not made for being a woman.
I think it's really cool when I meet a woman who's like well established as a researcher, and she could go into the conference room with the rest of the men and dressed in her like awesome business suit and just like.
And now I'm at this point where I'm just like, shit, reject the system. I'm sorry, I just swore. It was kind of like,
I want to be like that. I want to be like in a position of power. I like power, I think.
Why would I work in a system that's not built for me? What kind of sense does that make? And so it's like,
I'm a woman and I'm also colored, so that might hinder some things in the future depending on where I am. But other than that, I feel like in terms of life, I've never felt like I couldn't be myself.
But over time, I developed my own sense of self, separate from what my mom was guiding me towards. And when I realized that, I mean, pretty early on, but when I feel as if I was able to establish my identity separate from, I mean, it's still attached to the community it came from, but an identity that was separate from that and not really common.
Pretty much all of my friends at college know that, you know, I'm not exactly straight and not completely within the gender binary and just kind of in this little fuzzy gray area.
I was initially perceived as a straight white male, and so what I had to say on the topics of race and ethnicity were actually thought of as less, and that was generally agreed on in my group, just based off the virtue of me being a straight white male, which I'm not a straight white male, I'm a bisexual white male, actually.
I am Asian American, but I'm also like very proud of being American, but at the same time like really want to embrace as much of the Chinese culture that I can.
That's a generalization, but in Eastern Europe, you never say something nice because that would make the other person cocky. So in order to prevent that, we usually show affection through criticism because that shows that you want the other person to reach his or her highest potential.
I definitely feel very insecure in terms of my family. I feel I am the black sheep that's trying to rise out of a not terrible situation, but coming from a lower middle class, upper lower class situation.
Growing up, I mean, when I think about it, like when you think about affection, I often think, oh, like, you know, you hug someone, it shows affection, it shows that you care about them. And we didn't really hug in my house very much. But
I'm actually probably oddly the most physical out of everyone in my family. I like to hug people, I boot people's noses, and I like receiving that too. So, yeah, just...
I honestly don't know. I don't entirely understand what it means to give or receive love.
I feel like I can accept love from others because I feel like it's something that everyone deserves, and so I deserve love.
I would love to tell my mom all about my artistic life and all these great things that I'm doing and thinking, and she just like would ignore it, and not because she's uninterested in me, but just uninterested. Like, I don't know. It's just I can't connect with anyone, so therefore I try to not show affection. I generally have none to give anyways.
I guess what I'm starting to do is just back away. I understand a lot of people don't feel the same way about certain things, or they don't treasure certain things like friendship as much as I do.
I feel like I have to have a lot in common with a person to feel loved, because I feel like they should understand like my passions in life and appreciate my passions in a way. So
my mother would kind of just pushing me away, but not in a bad way. Like I don't think I ever felt not loved. I think I always felt loved. I can't speak for myself being 3 years old, but during like those formative years, there was not that much affection shown.
Your weaknesses can be strengths in a way. Like, I would say my biggest weakness is sometimes I can be too caring of a person. So, I don't know, you can always look at that on the flip side, and, you know, then being a caring person can be a good thing in some cases.
I think I keep searching for love. It never stops.
I know, sometimes I just feel like I'm the one taking care of other people and being there for them, and they're not there for me, and I don't know if they feel the same love and affection. I don't know.
I guess that's sort of a difficult question. I mean, I think that I can receive love and give love, but I don't know how good at it that I am. Like, I tend to, like, hold in my feelings, and
I don't know, like when I was leaving for the first time for college, like when they were dropping me off, like everybody else was talking about how like, oh, their parent, like it was really emotional, their mom was crying or whatever. We just like met in the quad, and I was like, all right, see you guys in a couple months. And they're like, bye, see ya. It like makes it a hard time to give love to because I'm sort of afraid of letting my feelings show.
Recently, almost like every single day, I've kind of had existential crisis every day, because I mean, I am atheist, and so because of that, I don't think there's any like end point that we need to reach like spiritually.
But there was a time, I guess, prior to high school where I just felt lost. That was before I actually committed to becoming a Christian. So I guess my spirituality really like made me feel safe. Before I was pretty like not sure what I wanted and what I wanted to do in life, and like why I was even living, type of whole chaotic time. But
what do I want out of it? I just want to be happy. I just want a family, and I want a job where I don't hate myself every day going into it.
I think if I think back to everything I've done in my life up to this point, I guess what I want out of my life is to be happy. And I think you can do that a ton of ways, but to me, it's just, that's the most important thing, is being happy with what I've become. And I think what I want out of it, or what I want to become, is someone I can be proud of and be happy with.
We're all human, and we're all people. And I just want people to see me as a representation of the love of Christ, so that instead of people saying, oh, Christians are this and Christians are that, I want people to say, oh, you know what, they're actually pretty cool.
But I always wonder, like, what I should be caring about. And
I want to start with saying I'm not sure completely who I want to become, but
A lot in middle school, I felt kind of outcasted. I had a good group of friends, but I was middle school puberty, trying to like figure out what I wanted to do, or where my place was in people in general.
What I want out of life is a chance.
Keeping more or less a clear vision of where I want to go, like not only like physically but mentally or like emotionally, would kind of take away the gray insecurity.
I kind of had a depression, but then I went back home for like a weekend, and I was around my nephew for a lot, and I love my nephew, and he kind of got me out of that depression, because like I don't care about what the point of life is. It could be something different than what my point of life is, but for me it kind of changed at that point. It was like I realized it's like for the future, like it's for like your kid. Like once you have a kid, or once you have like a very close little kid, like as a nephew, like that's what you care about, and like that's what you want to make the world a better place for them.
When I think about my life as a whole, what I want out of it is to be able to ultimately say, like, look, I did this thing. I was the first person to know that this thing is how it is. And I want to be able to point back and say, I did these things, or I made this thing.
It's kind of that idea of like always leave something better than how it was like before you got there. Never, at the very least, don't make it worse.
So it's not like what I can get materialistically, it's like what I can get intellectually. What can we come from each other? Can we come together and make something great? Can we come together and make others feel loved who don't feel loved? Can we just like increase the value of the world, like make a place a better place to be?